All right, I'm back to recording. So now I'm going to show you something else about type, but it's in the selection tool, at the selection category. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to choose, before I do anything else, I've got my type showing, and I can move this whole panel. Whoops. Oh, come on. Go away. All right, I'm just going to move it. I am going to find my layers again. Okay. And because I clicked over here, by the way, it automatically made a new layer of text, and I don't want one, so I just deleted that. So I'm going to go to the rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to select right here inside of this text, and I'm on the text layer. So you'll see something interesting. So I'm going to go up here now to the select tab, and I'm going to say select similar. And I'll show you a couple different ways to use this, but first one, select similar. And guess what? It selected all of that text. Now, and I put the dancing ants on it. So essentially it's a mask, by the way. Now I'm going to go to the flagster layer, and then I'm going to go to the move tool, and it's going to move the selection. Whoops. It's going to move. Couldn't move the selection because the selected area is empty. What? Okay, maybe I have to move this up. I'm going to move it up here. And then I'm going to say, select inverse. And I'm going to hit delete. Oh, doesn't like that either. Okay, this was working for me before when I was prepping this, but
you have to have all three layers selected or merge them, or?
no, not at all. Okay, so let's try this again. Happy 4th of July. I've got that selected. If I come over to the flag, I should be able to okay, I'm on the flag, the selection's on the text. So let's select inverse. Oh. Okay, so I just couldn't see it, I'm sorry. So guess what? If I turn off the 4th of July up here, now my text has all got flag in it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a nice graphic. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. You can do all with any kind of background. You know, I just happen to have the flag, but any kind of background will do. And just do it more smoothly than I just did. I confused myself somewhere along the line.
You ended up with a great graphic.
And that's what I was going for. So, but you could do it with a forest if you were doing a headline for Sierra Club, or you could do it with anything you want. Kids' birthday cards. Since my kids were little, I always did their birthday cards with stuff like this. So it's a fun thing to do. All right, so let's go back.
Now, before you go, Eric, so
Yeah.
now I wanted to repeat that. So you in this case, you had text, you had a flag, you dragged your text on top of the flag.
Yep.
And then you said something about, and your text is highlighted.
Yep.
And then there's something about inverse.
Yeah. So now I'm on the flag
the
layer,
flag.
and this got my selection. So I'm going to select inverse, which means not this text, everything else. But the flag has the text behind, right? Behind here is the flag. So it's going to take away everything that's not in the Dancing Ants Happy July 4th. And I'm going to say delete. And there it is.
Great.
Does that make sense?
And then all you do is just click in the white and then you've deselected the Happy July 4th. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And since it's on, I have it on white background right now, but I could put it on a transparent background, and I could save this as a PNG, and I could put this text, July 4th text, on top of an image or do something else with it.
got it. Right, nice.
Yeah, it's a cool way to do things. Let's back up here. And you can also go to your history, by the way, if you use history, and that'll take you all the way back to the beginning, if you want to. So that's what I did. I was going to show you something else. Oh, I know what I was going to do. So now let's look at the flag again. And I have to make sure I'm on that layer. So I'm on the flag layer. I'm going to use that same tool in select. So I'm going to take the rectangular marquee. I'm not going to play with text. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this red area, and I just made a marquee selection. That's looking at the red area on this flag layer. And then I'm going to say, select similar.
By the way, Cooper just joined the meeting in case you hear anything.
Oh, good. And it tried to select the red in here, but some of the red's really dark and light, that sort of thing. So in this case, I'm not going to use that selection tool to select all the red. I'm going to switch to a different tool. But let's just keep it on for a second because I want to show you what it can do if it could see all of the red in this image.
Can you repeat how you got there? I'm sorry, but you selected the red button using what tool?
So the marquee tool,
Okay.
the rectangular marquee,
Right.
I just made a little selection here of the red area on this flag layer. And then I said select similar, just same way I did with the text.
Oh, okay, similar, okay. Okay.
But now it's selecting all the red stripes, or it's trying to select all the red stripes. And then I could say image adjust, hue and saturation. And I'm going to change the hue. And now I'm going to make it red, white, and green. And blue, I guess, too. And that works on images that have more consistency with the color. If you want to change the sweater on a woman's sweater to green or from any color, you just use the hue and saturation and you can switch that around. That didn't work great in this case. So,
Oh, that was god awful.
yeah. So I'm going to show you a different way to do it. So that would be image, adjustments, replace color. And click on replace color. I'm going to click on some red here. And if you look at this word, it says called fuzziness. I just took the eyedropper tool that it gives you and I clicked on the red. And you can click on different areas of red and you see how it gets lighter or darker depending on where you click. But it also shows you what it's selecting. It's kind of in black and white here. It's kind of showing you what you're selecting. The more you move fuzziness to the right, the more you're gonna get all of those range colors of red. So,
You're also getting the blue.
we'll see. I don't think I am, but let's see. So now you move over to this hue again. And let me move this box out of the way so you can see the whole thing. I'm gonna come over to the hue and watch those stripes. Guess what?
Okay.
The gold works just fine, or the orange or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't affect the blue. The green is a little iffy.
Yeah, actually, before you, when it was still more yellow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the yellow works best. Now I could increase, I'm going to increase the fuzziness. I'm going to go all the way. And if I do that, now I can change them to any color I want.
Huh.
Once again, you have to play with this. The fuzziness is the key factor. Some things it won't work with, because if there was any blue in this red, if it was more purple, it wouldn't work. But because it was pretty strong red, then it
Okay.
allows you to do that. But I think the colors that the founding fathers picked were pretty good.
Very good.
We'll give them a plus on that. You can also change the saturation to make it stronger, brighter. The lightness doesn't really work well, but I'll show you anyway. You can make it pinky. You can make it black. It doesn't work as well. That's a little too strong. So I don't use lightness very often, but I use this tool quite a bit simply for changing. Sometimes you can change skin tones. Sometimes you can change all kinds of things. So keep that in mind. And it
Right.
only works on images. It won't work on the text.
Only when the colors are well isolated.
Yeah, it's best with isolated colors. But in the case of a woman with a sweater on, if the sweater is all one color or it's heavy stripes, then it works great for that. And once again, fuzziness is the key, and that's image, adjust, replace color.
Very good.
And it gives you that eyedropper, which you then place on whatever color you want to change. Let's go back to text for a second. I'm going to select the text. And by the way, if you click the T tool, the type tool, and you go to highlight something, even if you're on the wrong layer, it's going to know that you're looking for text, and it'll take you to the text layer. Because when I did that, I was on the flag layer, but Photoshop knows you want text because you're in the text tool. So you come up to the top here, and you can see that it's black up here, this color, and that's where you set the text color. So you simply click on that, and it shows this is a range of red right now because this slider is at the bottom, but I can go to green, blue, whatever color, and I'm just going to pick in this little round thing. You have to use that to pick your color. Or if you're really smart and you know the RGB value you're looking for, you just type it in down here and it tells you. Every color has an RGB value. It also has a CMYK value. Don't worry about CMYK. That's just for commercial printing. Not something you need to worry about, but RGB you would worry about. And also down here, these color, this is a color, and this is hex colors, which are used for the web. So if you're a website designer, you would change the color. You could change the color down here.
Are web colors much more restricted?
Yes, there's a maximum of 256, and it's usually many times smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, when I made that PNG, if you know, one of the parameters was how many colors it used for that PNG. It only used 30 colors.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is just a color designation of this light blue here is 2483BA. And none of these numbers make any sense to me because you go all black, it's 0000, that's fine. You go to all white and it's FFFFFF, which makes no sense to me.
Well, that makes sense. That's that
Hexadecimal.
many digits maxed out. It's all ones.
It's a hexadecimal, it's 16 digits.
Yeah.
0 through 9, then A, B, C, D, E, F finishes it up.
Oh, I see.
You
Okay.
gotta speak hex, man.
Yeah, I don't speak hex. But a dark blue is 172, 731. Yeah, it's not logical for us normal people.
Yeah, I started an assembler programmer, so
Okay. That was a tough way to go.
yeah, exactly.
All right,
Got
so
over it.
you can see happy is blue now. And
Color.
and I'm just I'll use that color for right now. And then I'm going to show you one more thing under the type. You just double click this, Happy 4th of July. And it's going to bring up a dialog box for me. And I'm going to go here, drop shadow. And I'm going to have to double click on this drop shadow box right here. And then it gives me some choices. So it's going to do whatever you last did. So I'm going to make the opacity 100%. It's at 90 degrees, which means the shadow is directly below. Well, the shadow is almost never directly below unless it's 12 noon someplace. So I always put the angle off about 120 degrees-ish to the left-hand side, so the shadow will be coming down to the right. I'm going to show you with the distance tool. See the shadow? So that's 123 degrees is where that shadow is falling. And why would you want that? Well, if you're putting this on a background that is blue-ish, your text may not show up very well, so you might want to put a distance of 17 in this case. Spread, never use the spread tool. They should pull that out of there. Here's the spread. It just makes it really super black like that, which is fine if you're going for that, but you can do the same thing with size. So if you see size, it's a smaller version of that exact same thing you just did in spread. And spread is useless at this point. It doesn't do anything unless your size is up, and then spread will. So I can look pretty 1960s here. I'd have to change the color. I can change the color of the shadow, and let's be 60s here. Let's okay. So, and I'll do so there we go. That's what was the show with Goldie Hawn and the Sakatumi girl and what was that show called?
Oh,
Come on, guys, you know this.
I'm working on it. I almost have it, but I can picture it, but I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I had it in my head. Got all the hippy dippy flowers in the background and everything.
right.
Yeah. Anyhow,
With Rowan and Martin
laughing.
laughing.
Yeah. There you go. Between the four of us, we were able to figure it out. So
You have to tie dye that thing.
yeah, well, I could do that too. Anyway, that gives you some reasons that you would actually want to use type. Most people ignore it completely, but there are a few reasons for it. And like I said, birthday cards for my kids or grandkids or nieces or now that I have a grandchild, I'll probably start doing it for them now because my kids have outgrown dad doing that to them. So
Do a lot more than that for the grandkids.
yeah. So any other questions, comments?
You're good.
No, not on type.
Okay. So those are a few things you can play around with. And Photoshop is definitely something that you need to play around with to learn more and more about it. There's so many things here that are not, that's not in Lightroom, and so many things you can do that make life easier, but you have to learn it, so it gets more complicated. I'll go back and show you the, since we have 10 more minutes here. So let's go back and we'll do,
Before you go all the way back, Eric,
yeah,
the other show that I was searching for, but I came up with the Smothers Brothers.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Same time frame.
Yeah, that was about 5 years later, I think. Yeah, pretty close. Tommy and Dickie Smothers.
San Jose
Exactly.
State.
Goldie Hawn, that's right.
Yeah,
San Jose State.
He did?
Smothers Brothers went to San Jose State.
yeah, they played there. Yeah.
No, they went there. The
Hmm.
school.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, but they also
Really?
played, they did a comedy show there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the end of the 70s, I think, sometime.
There's a theater there, and if you take a night class, when you get out of your night class, you could walk by the theater and go in and watch whoever's performing in it for the night.
Oh, cool.
I used
Wow.
to park there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to park there, and then I go there and watch the last of the show and then go home.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go up here. File, remember file export. I'll just spend a couple more minutes on it. And I'll show you the save for web. And that's not necessarily saving it for the web. Don't worry about that. It's simply giving you choices to use GIF, JPEG, or PNG. And I'll tell you when to choose which. So right now, you don't see the whole image, by the way. I can move this. I can move this so you can see that the whole image is there. All right, so what I want to do is, if you did a JPEG, it's going to do a great job with these shadows on the stripes and on the stars and things like that. It shows you the size it is. So guess what? I use this tool, and I usually put it on high or very high. If it's a JPEG, high or very high. It says optimized. Progressive means, and you may have seen this before, when you click on something on a web page, it slowly dissolves in an image. That image doesn't pop right up. That image comes up in steps or slowly.
Right.
That's what progressive is.
That was for slow internets though, right?
It was. It was
Bot feeds.
the dial-up world. So, but optimized means it's going to only use the colors it needs. And that's important. That'll help a lot. And it's convert to sRGB, which is what we're using as the base for our competitions. So you could make your files here of your images for the competition. And you go down to image size, and it's 1920 is the max. For width, and the height max is 1200, but this is only 922, so that's fine. And if you go over here, you'll see that the 9.66 megabytes is now 600K. And I don't remember what it would take 111 seconds at 56
Yeah, at a dial-up. Hey, so
KBOD.
do you play, if you pick the very high, do you play with quality too?
It improves the quality. So you
Oh,
could,
but there's a pull down for quality up there in the right.
yes, yeah, it sets it. So when I did very high, it created 80, I think. Let's go to high. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
high,
I'm at 60. Okay.
high is 60, yeah. So I go to very high typically. And look a little bit at the difference between the two images. The reds are a little darker here, a little brighter here, because it's using fewer reds to create this lower one. So if I went to maximum,
Yeah, it's got all the standard compression problems.
yeah, if I go to maximum, it should be much, much closer. It's a little closer.
Well, it's still compressing the crap out of it. So
It's still compressing it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot less contrast.
Yeah, yeah. So you can use this to create images if you wanted to. But like I said, it's mostly used for the web. But I'm just demonstrating you could use it for your competition image if you want to. I don't do it this way, but you could. Okay. Then I'm gonna do save. And that was at the maximum, by the way. And I'm gonna go to desktop. And PSD group. Okay. I'm gonna save it. And then I'm gonna come back to it and look at it, file, open. And Windows bugs me sometimes because they will go back to where you were and sometimes they don't go back to where you were. Oh, by the way, a PNG file, this July 4th one I did before, it will show up looking like this with black, but that's just that's just to tell you it's transparent.
oh, okay. With the transparency, it shows black
Yeah,
instead of got it.
if
Okay.
it's white, it'll show you white. If it's black, it'll show you, but anyway. Photo club, history group. I gotta find that image I just.
Right there. Go up.
Oh, yeah, okay. So here it is, but I'm gonna hover on it for a second first. Okay, it shows you it's 1920, it's 911K. So that was accurate in the case of the maximum. And there it is. And it doesn't look bad.
No, it's a happy, bright, happy July 4th color that you should put a smiley face at the end of 4th.
I should. And here's the original. That's the TIFF file. And a TIFF, if you don't know it, has many thousands, sometimes millions of color possibilities, as opposed to this optimized JPEG, which uses a couple hundred at most. So. All right, I think we're done for tonight. And next time on this channel, we will look at filters, which there's a lot to look at there. And we'll skip over 3D because Adobe's going to stop supporting it. I might show you a couple of things because it'll show up for another year, but Adobe's not using that anymore. They have a new 3D tool that you can buy. So this is going to go away, but I will talk about filters. We may spend most of our time on filters.
Yeah, it seemed like you could spend several nights on filters.
You could, especially if I did Camera Raw, which is essentially what you use in Lightroom.
That's Lightroom, right?
Yeah. So
I could use it, education about Blur as well, Blur Gallery.
yeah, that's very useful. And the most useful of any of those is Gaussian blur.
Huh?
Right.
And but
So that'd be great if you could explain why.
Yes, I will.
Okay, great.
I will, because it's controllable is why. But
Ah,
I
okay.
will show you that. And yeah, I think next time we'll only do filters because there's so
Yeah,
many.
that'd be great. Yeah, and sharpen, if you can talk about
I will,
over sharpening, because
I will. And actually, there's a better tool for sharpening. Well, not necessarily. There's two tools. This one in under the filter, but there's also under Camera Raw, there's under the detail tab, there is a sharpen tool there too.
is it using different algorithms?
Yes,
Oh,
newer algorithm is actually in the Camera Raw. And then there's also this, if you haven't seen this before, I think I've demonstrated this before. Everybody over in your tool set, there is a sharpen tool over there. Where is that? Sharpen tool.
right.
And that triangle tool, for instance, I can just take it right now. You have to, that's the tool. Don't forget the options. So I would bring the options up to about 50% strength. And then I can come in here and just increase the sharpness. Well, you probably have to blow them up. So I can increase the sharpness of these stars. And you just have to be careful not to overdo it. But we can look at that in more detail. But don't forget about this because I use it all the time. And especially if you have people, it's to do their eyes. Just to take this and
Okay, so it sharpens just what you selected then, like a paintbrush.
just within that circle.
Got it.
So if
And
you-
it's additive, so if you keep going over it, it gets sharper.
yep, it's additive. And what would happen is if you go too far, it's going to pixelate.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
But
Eric, it must be because then you're looking at contrast because you got white and dark there. So it's looking for edges. Is that right?
no, it's not really looking for edges. It's sharpening anything within that circle, which is the blue and the white, and there's no edges on the blue, right? At the top of the blue.
Okay.
So it is simply sharpening everything within that circle.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'll show you, maybe I'll use a person for the filters and we'll do a bunch of stuff with filters next.
Yeah, cool. That'd be good. Yeah, because I've been having an ongoing fight with the sharpening, the outside AI sharpening tools.
Yeah. I'll show you those and you'll be much happier with the newer version that's in Camera Raw as a starting point. And then we can go to the sharpen filter, which is the old one. And that is sharpen, and it gives you all these different possibilities. But guess what? This unsharpened mask, which is not intuitive, that's the best one to use.
Oh, okay. I never touched it, so that'd be
Yeah,
good.
because you don't want to unsharpen anything.
Well, yeah, right.
It's just a bad name for it.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen.
Look forward to next month. Thank you, Eric.
All right.
I'll see you next month. Take
Thanks,
care.
Eric.
How old's the grandkid?
I'll say hello to them for you. They won't say anything back because they can't speak yet, but
How old?
How old?
5 months.
Oh, same as mine then.
Oh, really? Good. for
Yeah,
you.
I've got one about 4 months, April 28th.
Oh, look at you. Yeah, well, she's just, and yours might be at the same point, and Mercury yours will be there soon. She is just, if you go goo, 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 goo to her, she will try to say goo, 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 goo back to you.
Right. Yeah, she was 5 weeks early, so she's slower catching up, but she's getting there now.
Yeah, it's, the verbalization is cute, very cute.
Yeah, she definitely repeats,
Yeah,
something.
yeah, they're trying to make some kind of sound that's similar to what you said, but
When they start talking, you repeat back to them so they hear how it should be pronounced a little better.
yeah,
It'll it'll sink in over time and there'll be a better conversationist.
Yeah, next week she'll be speaking in sentences, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
My granddaughter Anya, she's up in Portland, and we will be visiting her at the end of next month, and we'll find out about how she does repeating whatever I say to her.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
try that, but
All right.
just
That's-
do like boo, boo, boo or something. No, don't crack open the dictionary and start reading anything. All
See
right,
y'all.
guys, take care. I'm gonna stop our program.
Thank you, Eric.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Eric.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.